So hi everyone, I'm Terry Pace. I'm a holistic health coach and I've been doing this about 10 years and we've had some pretty amazing experiences over that time. I used to work for the county. I was in the health department and social services for close to 2 decades. And I just want to express my gratitude for the opportunity to share my knowledge and my experiences with you today as part of this mental hygiene initiative that Suffolk County is doing for its employees. I know that it was difficult doing the job under normal circumstances, and so I applaud and honor the people who are out there now trying to do that same job. Sometimes maybe from home or with limited resources because other people are home. So you want to just say thank you, and donating my time and all of this just to help you get through this. So during today's workshop, we're going to explore some of the daily habits you can do that reduce emotional overwhelm. I will share some very simple routines and my favorite essential oils for improved mental hygiene and emotional stability. And if you leave here today with some simple steps that you can do to stay balanced and kind of feel great more often, would that be valuable to you? If you could leave here with those things, well, this is designed to do that. So, but first let's start with a brief overview of exactly what is an essential oil and what are their health benefits. I know that it's very popular these days, right? So an essential oil is distilled from plants, right? The leaves, the stem, the barks, sometimes the roots. As in the case of citrus, they're distilled from the rind of the fruit. They are naturally occurring, volatile aromatic compounds. It's actually nature's chemistry. And so one of the things you'll learn here today is that an essential oil is a message carrying molecule, right? The plant produces the essential oil for its defensive and recovery mechanisms and as part of its communication. So it will protect from environmental threats. Sometimes it's to recover from a microbial or a fungal attack. And sometimes it is to actually attract a pollinator or maybe to repel a pest. So these same things are what we benefit, right? So it helps us be protected from environmental threats. It helps us recover from microbial or fungal attacks. It helps us to heal or repair damaged cells and kind of communicate better, right? That intercellular communication is so important for your body to do what it knows how to do. So there's 3 easy ways that we use essential oils, right? The first way is aromatically, right? We diffuse it, it goes into the air, we breathe it in. This supports our respiratory system, it promotes a positive mood. Topical is, well-studied method of applying essential oils, right? You're gonna place it on the area that needs your attention, right? So if you have a headache, you're gonna put the oil right on your head. Perhaps you have a burn or a bee sting or something, you're gonna apply your essential oil right to that spot. If you have a knee pain or back pain, right? So we're gonna be localizing the benefits. And then finally, you can take them internally, but not all essential oils are created equal. And so you really want to make sure it has this supplement facts label. That's how you know that it is rated by the FDA for internal use. And you'll learn a little bit more as we go through the content tonight. So when you have a pure and potent essential oil, one that's therapeutic grade, within 22 seconds, they find the chemistry in your brain. Within 2 minutes, within 2 minutes, they find that chemistry in the blood. And within 22 minutes, it is in every single cell of your body, right? So they work incredibly fast. And here's an example. So this is an actual slide of blood, right? It was taken from a person. And you can see that the cells themselves are kind of flat and misshapen. It's actually like kind of a little video clip that I took a picture of. And when it's live, you can see the cells moving around. And in the case of this, they're not moving very well. They're very sluggish. But what they did was they applied an essential oil and they took a blood sample 30 seconds later. This is what it looked like. So look at the dramatic difference, right? You see the cells are round, and you know, if it was again live stream, you would see that the oil, the oil has helped the cell get rid of that free radical damage and move freely about. So it's cleansing it, it's detoxifying, it's actually giving it the better environment to do what it knows how to do, right? And this is what is possible when you have a therapeutic grade essential oil. It is dramatic and it's immediate, right? 30 seconds later, this is the gift to us. So when we're talking about emotion, we want quick, right? Because when I'm having like an emotional moment, right, like I feel like I'm either going to cry or I'm so frustrated I think I'm going to scream, I want something that's going to help me immediately. And when we look to nature, right, these essential oils, it was man's first remedy to lift the mind, to renew the body, to heal the heart, right? And so this is a really good way that we can nourish ourselves. Has anybody here had the opportunity to use essential oils? Maybe you could, answer in the chat, or you could just, raise your hand or unmute yourself and say yes or no. I know sometimes it's hard to participate if you're calling in from a phone, but we'll keep going. Okay, so are you ready to feel good more often? Right? Would you like to be happier and more connected, more empowered, right? Who wouldn't? Like everybody wants that. And I would imagine that that's why you're here. I do want to feel good more often. I want to feel like not like a victim. I want to feel empowered, right? And so can you imagine everyone on the planet feeling emotionally stable? Right? Imagine what a great world that would be. I'm like, that is my goal. So you're created to function as a whole, right? Your body, your mind, your spirit. And we're inseparably connected. I often describe it as like a three-legged stool, right? Like when the mind is disturbed, it expresses itself physically. And, maybe sometimes when we have physical stuff going on, we're ill at ease. And so I want you just to appreciate the connection that we are created to function as a whole. Your body's made up of these really intelligent cells, and they're wired to restore health. Our emotions are chemistry. They're information carrying molecules. And that emotion, this is kind of a little picture of what that might look like. They bind to and react with the receptor that's on the outside of the cell. And they can get into the cell, right? They know how to unlock the receptor site. It's kind of like a lock and key, and they have the key. And once they get inside, they can impact cellular function and behavior, right? And so, in other words, in their smallest, most basic form, their chemistry that unlocks potential inside a cell. How cool is that? Like you have powerful chemistry at your fingertips when you have an essential oil, right? It's super fascinating to discover more about emotions. I had a really good friend of mine, and one of the things she said was, like, my chemistry made me do it, right? Like I didn't bark at you, it was my chemistry, right? It was just me reacting to feeling threatened or whatever. So I thought that was funny. Okay, so we have the ability to process this, emotional chemistry in many different places, not just where you think, maybe in the brain, right? And so we have the mind, which is our logic and our intellect, right? But our subconscious, right? That's like, so many things that we do are below that awareness level, right? We're just kind of going through the motions. We're not even aware that we're making decisions. And it controls almost 90% of our behavior. When we talk about the intuition of the heart, there are more neural pathways that run from the heart to the brain than from the brain to the heart, right? And so the heart is feeding the brain with really good information. And then we have that gut, right? How many people have ever experienced like a gut level feeling? Like, and somebody asks you, well, why did you do that? And you're like, I don't know. It just didn't feel right. Well, that's your limbic brain, right? It's a whole other part of your body. And inside your gut, you create almost 90% of all of your chemistry that lives in the brain, like your, the neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin, right? Things that help us get the job done and get through our day are being created in the digestive system. So we look for digestive health to support mental health. And all of these are just kind of examples of how, we have the ability to process feelings, which I want you to remember, feelings, emotions are chemistry, right? Your body produces a chemistry to actually elicit a behavior from your body, right? So when we're scared, it elicits different behavior, like your heart beats faster and your eyesight gets more focused, and you breathe differently, like just so that you can be ready to run if you need to. And so all these things happen instantaneously. As soon as you're scared, you don't have to think about, okay, I need a little more cortisol and epinephrine so I can run away, right? Your body just automatically goes through this. And so we are processing both emotional chemistry as well as, like our thoughts that created it all the time. So your mind is like this conductor that's directing the body to feel the emotion and behave in a physical way, right? So like it's all connected. So let's take you through like a little example, right? So we have our 3 different brains, and they instinctively process a particular life experience. Okay, so if you look at this picture, right? Like let's go closer, right? Like she's having a day, right? She's got the baby crying. She's on the phone. Maybe she's trying to work from home, like many are doing right now. And, she's trying to get the job done. She doesn't have anybody taking care of the child. The dog needs attention. And so she is stressed out, right? Have you ever felt like that? That there's just so many people pulling on you in a given moment, right? And that moment is recorded immediately in our subconscious mind, right? And we start processing it. And so the brain's going, okay, I got to figure this out. The heart is saying, okay, I'm totally overwhelmed. I don't know how I can do this. And the gut is starting to feel that in a physical way, I'm kind of stuck, right? And we start to feel the digestive discomfort when we're stressed out, right? So we're going to have a reaction. So maybe you get an upset stomach. Maybe you start to feel a little conflicted about what you should do. Like, do I want to take care of the baby, or do I want to answer the phone and take care of my boss, right? They're both important, but the fact that they're competing for my attention in this moment is creating stress for me. And then maybe, that leads to like having a little bit of head tension. Like all of these negative reactions are the consequence of that, experience, which kind of disrupt our internal balance, right? It results in kind of a disruption or disconnection, right? It creates disharmony in the body. And now this is where, if we're not processing that emotion in the moment, we are now creating a belief system, right? We're going to think something about it with an emotion, and now we're recording that in our DNA, right? And so maybe the belief that she's creating is like, oh my God, just not, like, I'm not good enough. I can't handle this, right? How many times have we often said that to ourselves? Oh my God, I can't handle this right now, right? And so we're kind of feeding a belief that really isn't true. Like we reinforce some old beliefs, and it's about how can I plant a new one? How do I nurture a new belief that produces fruit? So when you're nurturing a particular emotion and event that happened for you, how do you think about it? Like, what outcome is it going to bring in your life? Is it going to bring you joy, or is it going to bring you stress? Right? And so this whole process happens hundreds of times a day, not just once, right? Hundreds of times. Every stimuli that happens, we're going through this process, and it's instantaneous. And much of it, like, think of like an iceberg, right? The tip of the iceberg is our logical brain, the things that we're aware of. But most of what's happening, that 90% is underneath the surface of the water, and we don't even know it's happening, right? So, I know that when I'm stressed out, I immediately feel the tension in my neck, like probably because my shoulders are up around my ears. I feel it in my digestive tract, like, oh my God, I just, like, I can't even eat when I'm stressed out, right? And so I want you to, maybe if you have a moment, you can write down, how do you know when you're experiencing some kind of negative emotion, right? Is it that you feel like you want to cry? Is it that you notice that you're snapping at people? Maybe you notice it physically, where you're like, you have a headache, or you have certain pain. I know that there are times when I have back pain, and I have to, like, kind of think about it. I'm like, well, why do I feel this right now? Right? So just start being more aware of what your body is expressing as we're processing certain life experiences. Okay, so what do we need to weed out, right? What's the one weed that you would like to remove, right? It might be a negative thought. Maybe it's a relationship. Maybe it's, some kind of habit, a daily habit that I have that I really want to break, right? And are you reinforcing it, or are you taking steps to help you move away from it, right? Some of the thoughts might be, I am overwhelmed, I'm not good enough, why does this always happen to me? Right? I hate you fill in the blank, my boss, my, in-law, right now, I hate my partner, like whoever that is, right? Like, so we have a lot of this, and maybe right now, you're always like, when is this ever going to end, right? Like, when can we get back to our normal life? It's so stressful for us to be outside of our normal routines, and so that's okay to recognize that it's going to create some stress in your life, and there's going to be emotion, right? I'm not happy, I'm not having fun right now. So so how exactly can an essential oil support that? Well, essential oils are dynamic, right? They are also chemistry, right? As we saw at the very beginning, there's chemistry that changes the cells and how they're receiving information. And they provide targeted support, both physically and emotionally. So that emotion, right? Remember how the emotion sits on the outside and the receptor site kind of goes into the cell and starts affecting behavior? Well, essential oils do exactly the same thing. And now they can remove maybe some conflicting cellular messages and encourage the cell to restore itself. Remember when we talked about what's an essential oil, right? Those three things. It is protecting us, it is cellular communication, and it's healing, right? And so one of the gifts of an essential oil is that it strips the receptor sites and it cleans it. So it gets better messaging with the other neurochemistry that's in your body. We also have the ability for it to support healthy cell function, to anchor our biochemistry into something that's grounded, and now kind of start promoting both physical and emotional detox, right? They're going to cleanse all that negativity out and move us in a new direction. Now is when you have some pretty powerful tools at your fingertips. So how exactly can you use them? And so we're going to go through those 3 ways, right? So when we breathe something in, like, I don't know if you remember from your science lessons, right? The amygdala is part of your primitive brain. It is the fight or fight response. So it's always on, safe, not safe, safe, not safe. And if you're not safe, it can help you with your fight, flight, or freeze, right? Like, so either I'm going to, fight you back, I'm going to run away, or I'm going to just be totally like, deer in the headlight. And so this is all being done by your amygdala. And the fastest way to affect your amygdala is through the sense of smell, right? When we breathe in aromatic chemistry, within 20 seconds, we find that chemistry in the brain and starting to kind of move things differently. And so we can have direct access to both that limbic brain, the emotional seat of who we are. So one of my favorite ways to do that is with peppermint. Now, like, I don't know if you've ever had like a mint in, let's say, a mouthwash, or like when you go to the dentist, it's very minty. And so it's like, it opens the airways. It helps increase alertness. So it's going to support like your mental clarity because it's working both physically and emotionally, it's going to start to clear out that brain fog so that you can actually be more aware of your surroundings and what you're going through. And that you can now say, oh, I'm okay. Or like, you can choose a different thought in the middle of this. You can say, oh, no, I'm going to be fine. Let me just take a deep breath and I can deal with it. I'll feed the dog, I'll put the pacifier in the baby's mouth, and I'll tell my boss I'll call him back in 5 minutes, right? Like, so we can handle it. We just have to be, of the mindset that, yes, I can get through this. One of the things that they have found, so this is like kind of cool science. So the olfactory bulb behind the nose is where we process smell, right? That's how we know what we're selling. And we have really good receptors. We can identify almost 10,000 different smells. Well, what we're learning is that you have 350 olfactory receptor sites on all the organs and systems of your body. So we're processing smell everywhere, right? So aromatic chemistry is influencing behavior everywhere. I just think that's so cool, right? So I love peppermint oil to help experience more focus, increase my alertness physically, and then emotionally, that brain fog starts to lift. So here's another one. So topically, right? This is like either the back of the neck, you could put it on the bottom of your feet, you could apply it. Like, I like to apply it on the bones of my ears, behind my neck, sometimes over my heart, on my wrists, breathing it in all the while. Sometimes if I have if my belly's a little, cranky, I'll just apply it topically on my abdomen, right? One of my favorite essential oils for anxiousness and stress it's called Adaptive. It's an amazing blend of essential oils designed to help calm that response, right? It has really good chemistry to lower cortisol. Cortisol is one of your stress hormones. So when you are stressed out, like you crave carbs, which is counterproductive for people about feeling good about themselves, right? You're overeating because your body's craving carbs. And it helps to help you sleep better. Like, part of our issue emotionally is I'm just so fatigued every day. I don't know that I have the strength to go through this again. And so getting a really good night's sleep and then having a tool at your fingertips when you're feeling stressed out is really important. And one of the things that I have learned is that when we're stressed out, our immune system is suppressed. So there's a direct correlation. If you have chronic stress, you likely have a dysfunction in your immune system. And so what better way is, like, you're going to get immune boosting properties when you start lowering that stress response and returning you to this kind of emotional balance. Now, Another quick thing you could do, right? Like when we take oils internally, particularly like my wild orange, like all the citrus oils, I put a drop or two in my water, and it helps cleanse and detoxify both physically and emotionally, right? So it's going to cleanse those receptor sites and cleanse my digestive tract. One of my favorite things to tell people is that you have there's a chemistry, it's called limonene, that's in wild orange, which helps your body produce dopamine, and that's your happy drug. And so if you can imagine peeling back the skin of an orange and that spray that happens, right? The oil is in the rind, and so you're kind of releasing part of the oil. And when you breathe that in, like, you're just happy. Like, I know when I peel a citrus fruit, I'm just happier, and I was never sure why, but now I know why. It's because the chemistry is immediately kind of shifting our mood and helping us reduce that overwhelm and feel just a little bit happier. And yeah, I'm going to get through this. So it's like one of my super faves. Now, like, you know, it's in the moment. And so one of the things I want to impress on you is living in awareness provides choice. If you're not aware that you've been triggered by a particular thought and that there's an emotional response happening to you, where now your whole behavior has been triggered. And I hope, like, you know, because this is not really a great interactive class, usually I kind of have the audience talk through some of their experiences. But I just want you to think about an experience where all of a sudden you were kind of behaving out of character, right? Like maybe you snapped at someone who was just trying to help you, and you're like, wow, that's so not like me. I'm a very nice person. And so you kind of reverse engineer that, and like you can go back to, okay, what was it that was said, or what did I think that immediately made me feel like I had to snap, right? And so sometimes it is underneath the water, right? Underneath the water of that iceberg. And so when we live in awareness, aha, I've been triggered, you know, and so I will reach for an essential oil in that moment and say, okay, I choose a new behavior. I choose a new response to this. And even if the event never changes, I can actually choose a new response. And that's where I really love what we do. And so now I'm going to plant a whole new belief, right? And so some of my truly favorite emotionally supporting oils all have emotion names, right? Console, forgive, right? So maybe I need to forgive myself, or maybe I need to try to help forgive somebody else. Peace, right? Do you want a little calm in your day? You know, you have a hectic day, and so just put a little bit of peace on the back of your neck and put it in your diffuser and breathe it in. Cheer, maybe it's motivate and passion. I can't even just get started because I can't even focus, right? These are some of my absolute favorites, and they do what they say, right? And there's a lot of science behind it. There's a lot to the chemistry. There was this wonderful woman, Dr. Rena Szabo, who was she was a mental hygiene professional in a integrative cancer center, and she was dealing with like staff overwhelm. And she did a 10-week study, and what they did was they took one of these oils each week. And at the beginning of the week, the staff had to rate their emotions. And at the end of the week, after diffusing it for a whole week, they rated it again. And every single positive emotion increased, and every single negative emotion decreased. And what I found the most surprising in this study was that literally in the week that they diffused forgive, anger and frustration went to 0. Like, so think of your job and how angry and frustrated you often find yourself. And that just by diffusing a powerful blend of essential oils could shift how you perceive what you're doing. And, you know, Dr. Szabo would remark the same thing. She was like, that was the most surprising thing to me. But it really does work. And so, you know, that's not the only thing we can do, right? There's other things we can do, right? making sure you're well hydrated. Exercising is super important for mental hygiene, but so is resting, right? You know, meditate or pray. Give yourself a few moments of peace in your day. Intentionally choose that. Make sure you're eating a clean diet. And, you know, when we pair essential oils with nutrition, right, then essential oil actually helps us absorb and use the proteins, the vitamins, the minerals more effectively, right? Remember, they're instruction to the cell. So when we pair them with good nutrition, they actually just improve a lot of that cellular function. So there are lots of things you can do. There's some really great authors out there that talk about, you know, emotional stability and wellness. There's apps that are out there. And so what I offer to you is that, you know, if you want a free sample or you want to do a little bit deeper dive, I am here to support that. And I actually will put this in the chat right now. So if you, that link is available, and you know, you can just, you know, put your name and email and how I can contact you, and I will send you some samples of some of my favorite essential oils for this. And maybe even, you know, if you want to do a deeper dive into this, I'm happy to walk you through that. You know, I don't charge for my services, and I'm super grateful to you guys. And so I'm offering free samples just so that you can experience some measure of emotional balance right now and help you get through what you're going through. One thing I have learned is our success lies in our daily routine. What will you do each and every day to support emotional wellness, right? And like, I would love to invite you to connect with me. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. You know, you can email me at simply.natural@optimum.net. I'm available to support you through whatever it is you're going through. And we have a couple of classes still coming up this week, right? We're doing kind of like an intro class. So I kind of tell you a little bit more about essential oils and their benefits tomorrow at 7. This is the same link. And then on Friday, we'll be talking about how to increase your energy naturally. Right now, I've submitted some dates for next week, and we're just looking to kind of assign a particular topic to each of the dates, but you'll see probably another 4 or 5 classes that we'll be offering next week. For people who, you know, either you can put it in the chat right now, or you can unmute yourself and just tell me. I'll take your email address down or a phone number. I'd be happy to, you know, kind of work with you and get you some additional resources. I prepared some online folders with lots of really good kind of protocols and, you know, documents that, you know, could help you. And so I'm just so glad that you joined me tonight.